This presentation explores a simple question. What is the minimum social structure required to keep a human emotionally stable under conditions of extreme isolation? We are used to thinking in complex systems, crews, communication networks, artificial intelligence, redundancy. Complexity is expensive. It requires energy, maintenance, coordination, and sometimes complexity fades. So instead of asking how to build a perfect system, we propose a different approach. What is the smallest possible system that does not collapse? Let us imagine a scenario. A single human in deep space. No direct communication, no social feedback, no Instagram. And terrible silence. And a lot of time. Under these conditions, psychological instability is not an exception. It is a default trajectory. The human mind requires interaction to maintain coherence. Without it, it begins to fragment. Crazy things starts to be normal. The question is not why isolation is dangerous. That is already clear, like Kloßbrühe, as we say in Germany. The question is how little it's enough to resist it. We propose a minimal system. One human, one dog, one cat. Nothing more. This configuration forms what it will call a minimal emotional closed loop system, or MEGLS, maître. This system is very small, but it's not trivial. Each element fulfills a different function, not by design, but by nature. Let us examine the internal structure of this system. It consists of 3 agents, each one of works under different conduct-related principles. Spock the dog. The dog is oriented outward. It seeks connection, it follows, it responds, it barks. The dog stabilizes through closeness and love. It confirms the human is a center, but in isolation, this is a critical point. Because the human begins to lose his reference points. The dog reintroduces a simple access. You are here, you're not alone, my friend. I will follow you wherever you go. Now the cat, the usual cat. The cat behaves completely different. It does not follow, it does not confirm. It exists in partial independence in various dimensions of the multiversum. The cat introduces resistance. It cannot be fully controlled. It cannot be fully predicted. This is equally important, because a system based only on confirmation becomes unstable and doggish. It collapses into illusion. The usually cat prevents this. It interrupts projection. It denies total control. It reminds the human that something exists outside of them, something very strange. Finally, the human. The human is the most complex element. Here it becomes knifflig. It interprets, it projects meaning, it constructs narratives. Under isolation, this ability becomes very dangerous. Without external correction, the human begins to close the loop internally. This leads to distortion and eventually great pain and causes a lonely death. The presence of the dog and the cat interrupts this process, not by communication, but by behavior. The system does not rely on language, it relies on interaction in dark times. Ladies and gentlemen, our formula, the differential equation of emotional stability in a minimal social system. That's the core principle. What emerged from this configuration? It's not harmony, it is asymmetry. The dog connects, the cat resists. The human deals with an empty space. Stability is not reached by balance, but by tension. A system that is Too adjusted becomes fragile, but a system that contacts difference can persist. In this case, emotional stability emerges as a side effect, not as a goal. What are the results of such a system? First, the human does not collapse immediately in sadness. This might sound trivial. It is not. Under extreme isolation, maintaining coherence is already a success condition. Second, emotional states do not stabilize completely. They fluctuate. But within a limited range, the presence of the dog reduces your downward drift. You can see it over there. The presence of the cat prevents artificial stabilization. Together, only together, they create a bounded instability. Third, the system does not produce happiness. It prevents collapse. This destination is essential because it reframes what we consider a successful outcome from a deadlock situation. This raises a question. Is preventing collapse already enough? In many technological systems, the answer is yes. We do not require perfection, we require persistence. But when we apply this logic to the human condition, that implication changes. A life that does not collapse, it's not necessarily a fulfilled life. And yet, in extreme environments, survival redefines value. The system presented here suggests that emotional stability does not require complexity. It requires differentiation. Connection alone is not sufficient. Resistance alone, it's not sufficient. It is the coexistence of both that maintains structure. In conclusion, the minimal system of a human, one dog, and one cat, it's not a solution. It is a three-sort. For example, like the Lagrange solution, the famous Lagrange solution. A rare case where three bodies avoid chaos by maintaining a perfect symmetry and equilateral triangle in constant rotation. It also defines a lower boundary of what is required to remain intact and funny. It does not answer how to live well, it answers how not to break. And perhaps this is the more urgent question. In the environments we are beginning now to create. A human does not need many others, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes two are sufficient. Thank you very much. And please, don't always take your life so serious. Here we are.
Thank you so much for the fantastic talk.
I think so many questions we don't have for this.
I think many people have questions.